Welcome to the Relaunch Your Career podcast. I am your host, Leah Lambert, career and interview coach and founder of Relaunch Me, where we help you find the work that you were meant to do. Welcome to the first episode of the Relaunch Your Career podcast. I am your host, Leah Lambert, career and interview coach and founder of Relaunch Me, a career coaching business based in Melbourne, Australia. To give you a little bit of background before we get into the first episode, I haven't always been a career coach, and in fact, I am a little bit of a serial career changer myself. I actually started my career as a tax accountant with a Big Four firm in Melbourne in the late 90s. And after 4 years of working in taxation, I decided that perhaps it just wasn't for me. So that was when I made my first career change into agency recruitment, where I recruited accountants for 6 years. I then started studying human resources part-time. I worked in-house recruitment with a law firm, later moving into HR consulting, where I was helping companies select and implement e-recruitment technology. And then I had several years out of the workforce to be a mum to my 3 mostly lovely children. So going back to 2012, I found myself with 3 children under 4 and no real desire to return to the corporate lifestyle. My husband had a pretty full-on job, as he still does, with very little flexibility and a lot of travel, both on weekends and midweek. So it was at this point that I started to reflect on the roles that I'd done previously, to think about what parts that I'd really enjoyed and which parts I hadn't. I thought about which tasks had come more naturally, focusing on my strengths, and the ones that didn't really come naturally to me at all, like reading tax legislation and interpreting it to write letters of advice. I then started getting out and talking to people. I had lots of coffees all around Melbourne. I spoke with people on the phone interstate and spoke to a lot of people in different fields, as well as doing some online research. And suddenly I just knew that career coaching was what I had to do. So I was really interested in the content, and I felt pretty confident that it would come naturally to me, given my recruitment background. So I then did some further study in career development and found my first contract role in the careers field. About the same time, I set up my business, Relaunch Me, with the view of helping other mums relaunch their career after a break and to help people find meaningful work that use their strengths. So fast forward 6 years, I'm now very lucky to have a wonderful team around me. I have 2 fabulous coaches, Claire Pickard and Emily Manley, as well as 2 extremely talented resume writers, Victoria Gordon and Jeanette Walton. And I'm hoping that they will join me on some future episodes to share their expertise, stories, and knowledge with you too. So who is this podcast for? This podcast is for you if you've ever wondered if you're in the right career. Maybe something is missing, or that your work is not personally meaningful or fulfilling. Maybe you feel that you're living someone else's version of a great life, but not your own. These are the types of people that we work with every day at Relaunch Me. This podcast is also for you if you are a senior high school student or a university student and are just interested in finding out about different careers and what actually happens behind the scenes. So we've got some great interviews lined up with people doing work that didn't even exist a decade ago. And we know that you will learn as much as we have from listening to their stories. So at Relaunch Me, we believe that you can find meaningful and fulfilling work, but it's not necessarily going to fall into your lap. Sometimes you need to take the time to understand yourself, to understand what makes you tick, what you are good at, and what you believe in. And then you need to take action to get clarity. That means getting out of the house, away from the computer, and having conversations with real people doing jobs that interest you. But we also understand that most people are very busy and have commitments at work as well as commitments at home, which means that organising interviews with people and meeting with strangers just sometimes isn't going to work. So we do get that. And that's why we are bringing these people to you. We're going to have some interviews with everyday Australians about the work that they do so that you can really get a sense of what goes on behind the scenes, warts and all. I've got some great interviews lined up with those who have already made a successful career change as well. And they're going to share with you why they made the jump, how they went about it, and what they learned about themselves along the way. And I'm hoping that their stories will inspire you to take the action that you need to find your best fit career. At Relaunch Me, we call a best fit career a career that suits your personality type, uses your strengths, and is aligned to both your interests and your values. And I'm going to talk about each of these areas in subsequent episodes. I'm also going to share with you some no-nonsense, practical career and job search advice, stuff that you can take action on immediately to help you find work that you love. So if this sounds like it would be useful to you, then please subscribe to the podcast and stay tuned for our weekly episodes. If you have a question that I can answer for you, I would love to hear from you. So please contact me through the Relaunch Me website. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Relaunch Your Career. If you did, please subscribe, share with your friends, leave a review, or connect with us on social media at Relaunch Me Career Consulting. If you have any questions about the episode or the work that we do, then contact us via the website relaunchme.com.au. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.